How's it, sir? How's it, UV?
I'm
Happy
getting
holidays, guys.
frustrated.
Great. Okay, let's get the. All right, let's start off with the India versus Australia. I was speaking to UV on air, and I'll let UV finish his thoughts here. For Australia won the second test by 10 wickets, and then obviously in the third test, I'll just look at this quickly. They are 405 for 7 the first innings. But UV, what were your thoughts on Australia winning that second test so easily?
So for India, forget the WTC. My question is WTF. Seriously.
UV, are you there?
WTF. Yeah. Can you hear me? Hello? Can you hear me, Avish?
I can hear you. I can hear you loud and clear, and I actually would go with your sentiments there, UV, because I think as an Indian fan or somebody that's following his team can be really, really disappointed so far with what's going on.
But
Uh, I
the
think,
reason I
I think,
said WTF is because
yeah,
you're
I know
carrying
what you mean.
you're carrying Mohammad Siraj through 3 test matches. Seriously. Come on. It makes no sense. You've got one bowler that's got penetration. You've got 2 guys could do a job, can keep it quiet, but the second opening bowler needs to be somebody that can move the ball around with a bit of pace. Mohammad Siraj cannot do that. He's lost his pace back in the 1920s or something.
Yeah, I mean, look, if we're talking about that first test, I mean, it seems like such a long time ago, guys, that India actually won that first test, and so much has gone, by since that first test. Okay, let's talk about the pink ball. I mean, let's give Australia that one because I mean, Australia. I mean, there's something else in pink ball tests, especially with Mitchell Stark, bowling with that pink ball. I mean, he can make it talk. He can make it talk. So that was kind of a performance you would have expected in a way. But I mean, getting back to this test here, I mean, boy, winning the toss and bowling first, and look at that score now, 4-5 for 7 at close, and that score. Let's be honest, it's in 100 overs, so that you're not taking wickets, and also you're leaking runs as well, which is really really disappointing. But I know what UV is talking about now, but India not having enough penetration. So let's go back to Perth. I mean, they took 20 wickets. The wickets dried up in Adelaide. I mean, they didn't do themselves any favors getting bowled out for 180 in that first gig in Adelaide, and then obviously Australia. Travis said, I mean, we knew they were going to come hard if saw out that Bumrah onslaught on day one under lights, and they did that. That the openers survived. They weren't pretty, but they survived. And then the next day, I mean, when the shine was taken off the ball, but Travis said it just came and played his natural game. Uh, so I mean, 335. What is that? A deficit of close to 180. Close to 180, 160. Okay. And then coming out to bat second innings, you got blown away for 150. So if I'm looking at this batting lineup, it's not just the bowling. The batting lineup looking a bit brittle as well. I don't know if you guys concur with me.
Yeah,
I don't know if you guys concur.
I do,
It's
but I
looking
also
brittle.
think, while I don't think this is the best attack Australia can put on the park, they're definitely a lot better than the Indian attack when it comes to taking wickets.
Yeah. By the way, UV, I
I
want
would,
to
I
ask
would
you.
say, I would say, I would say this is the best attack that they can put on the field at the moment. I mean, looking at experience. I mean, I know you were talking about Lance Morris and stuff, but I mean, those guys are kind of untested in a way. This is Australia's best attack. But I mean, look, uh, I'm looking at this game here now. 405 for 7 at close on day 2. Jeez, this is a long way back now. This is a long way back. Looking at the
I'm
score,
one of
4, 5,
those
7.
guys who's never really put a lot of stock in just experience. You need a balance. You need one or two guys that can push it. Yes, experience is important, but you've got Stark there. How much more experience do you need?
Well, I think
Look,
you have Hazel.
I think Australia. I think Australia bowl well when Stark is bowling well. If Stark leads from the front, that's when you see Australia bowling well, and that's when you see the other bowlers coming into the game as well. I mean, Boland did very well in Adelaide, and then obviously Cummins as well chipped in. Uh, Going back to the India side of it, I mean, I totally agree with you. I mean, you've got one world-class bowler in that lineup that can penetrate, but where's your second bowler coming from? I mean, I actually thought Shami would get a game in this because reports have been out that he's in Australia for the series, and I mean this is a crucial game, guys. I mean, one you probably got to go in with your best attack, man. And I think Shami on this wicket would have been a different ball game compared to what India have at the moment. Siraj, very disappointing. I have to be honest. Even in the Adelaide games, at certain times, I mean, he didn't really hold up in the end. I mean, I know Travis was actually going after him, and it got a bit heated there. I mean, it got a bit heated there towards the end, but I mean, the damage is already done, man. The damage is already done by then. And in this game, yeah, I mean, apart from Bumrah, this attack is looking really, really flat. So, I mean, what's the way back for India in this game, guys? I mean, is there a way back?
Yeah, I was just going to ask you, Yuvi. Oh, so you think India's going to lose this third test?
I'm going back with what I initially said in our first chat. One match to India, the rest Australia take.
Okay. Avish, I have a theory for you, right? I can see only one way for India to gain some respectability, and that's a draw. If Australia bat till lunchtime on that third day, right, India will just need to play a Pujara, just grind the bowlers down to the ground, try and make the bowlers bowl more to them, to the point where, think about it, tomorrow the third day. The only way I see Australia winning is if they declare tomorrow morning and just bowl it India straight. Otherwise,
Yeah,
I think India's... Pardon?
Sure. I just want to add something to that, Sid. I mean, you were talking about a Pujara, but do you have an anchor inside that can just bat time? That is my concern here. Do you have an anchor? I mean, Australia have got runs on the board at the moment. Australia have got runs on the board, so their bowler is going to come on stretch. The only way I can see India coming back in this game is they can match Australia. Whatever Australia get, they've got to try to match it or get close to that. And that's going to take some kind of effort. If they do that, then I can see this game heading towards a draw. If they don't, then this is going to be big problems. So, I mean, all is not lost. But I mean, you're talking about a batting line that's a bit under pressure now to go and probably score around 350, 360 to make a game of it, which is possible. But the biggest problem with India at the moment is the penetration of bowling attack. I mean, they don't have a bowler that can actually back up Bumrah. And Shami was the perfect bowler. Shami was the perfect bowler to back up Bumrah, and he's not here, unfortunately. You've got guys like Akash. I mean, I know he bowled well in that funeral of a series against New Zealand, but he's a bit untested as well at international level. Siraj, erratic at best.
So,
really
Avish, so you think Australia's going to win this match, Avish?
I think Australia are hot favourites at the moment. I'd say around, if I'm looking at it, I'd say around 70-30 to Australia at the moment because they got runs on the boards. And if conditions are the way they are, overcast skies, this could be a very, very long
do you know
test match for India.
Do you know there is a bowler in the Indian side that I would much rather have seen playing in this match than Mohammad Siraj?
Which one?
Navdeep Saini. Navdeep Saini. Pace, moving the ball off the seam. That's a guy that could have taken a lot of wickets.
Okay. I'm sure they'll hopefully hear us and they will consider that. I want to actually, before we wrap
I think if India go 2-1 down, then they've got to make changes for Melbourne. I mean, it's got to be done. I mean, you cannot play the same attack. I mean, going to a fortress, you can't carry passages. You just cannot carry passages. You cannot. So they've got to make some tough decisions if they go down in this test match. But I mean, all is not lost. All is not lost. Let's see how they bat in their first innings, because I think that first innings tomorrow is going to decide where this game is going to go, guys. Honestly, If India do get well and they get close to Australia's score, I think they can draw this game. If not, it's going to be a tough one.
Man, my
I gotta
theory
make
is
mention.
okay.
I gotta make mention of one thing though.
Mm-hmm.
At times, Akash Deep did impress me. At times, he
Mm.
moved the ball. He did.
He
move
wasn't
the ball.
lucky.
He doesn't. He doesn't have the pace. He definitely
Mm.
doesn't have the pace. But he moves the
Mm.
ball. As a third bowler, he's not the worst. You just need
Mm.
your front two to have penetration. That's what you need.
Yeah. Okay. All I will say is that if Australia don't bowl first thing tomorrow morning and they bat a bit too long, I think if India apply themselves, it'll be a draw. And also, India will have to hope for some more rain because I don't see India winning it. I think it's either a Australia win or a draw. That's my theory. Only rain can
Get the
save
Havan
India,
Kunda
unfortunately.
outset.
Pardon?
Get the Havan Kunda outset. Get the Havan
Get a
Kunda
Harvard good now.
Also, if I look at it also for India as a positive, they can look at it as a net session when they come out like that. Just bat out time. That's the only way I could see it for India. Eh? Just grind these bowlers down.
There's only two players in that team that can bat that long. Kohli and Gill. Nobody else.
What about?
I would say KL Rahul can grind an innings out there.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Rahul. Yeah, Rahul. True. Yeah.
And Jaiswal if he gets going.
Nah, Jaiswal is too erratic. He'll play a stupid shot now and again. That's the way he is.
Yeah, but you never know. Jaiswal played well in the second innings at Perth, so you never know.
Yeah, but I think different scenarios.
Yeah,
pardon?
I think different scenarios. I think in Perth they were ahead of the game. Now they're behind the game. It's a lot more pressure.
He loses his wicket to a stupid shot now. He throws the game away.
Okay, all right. We can move to the second segment. Avish, it looks like we won the bet regarding the SA versus Sri Lanka. The SA won 2-0. So what are your thoughts on that, Avish?
Yeah, I think it was quite clinical in the end. Did we discuss the first test? I think we did. I think we did discuss the first test. We did.
Yeah.
So the second test was a lot tighter. I think Sri Lanka applied themselves well with the bat, but I think SA in the end, they just had too much for Sri Lanka. 106 runs win in the second test. They had to fight for it. They had to work for it, but I think it was good. So 2-0. That was the score line that I did, expect going to the series. And one more test match to get to that WTC final. So yeah, it's looking good for the Proteas at the moment.
Juvi, were you surprised or did you kind of expect it after the first test?
After the first test, I was not surprised. Sri Lanka they weren't up for it. They just weren't up for it. I'm gonna say it again, and I seem to be saying this a lot with a lot of teams around the world. Selection just sucks. I'm not gonna lie. Selection just sucks.
Yeah, you're right, man. It's becoming a bit of a sad tale of that story. Okay, Yuvi, did you watch the first T20 between SA and Pakistan? Actually, the first two T20s. Pardon?
It went the way I expected. I didn't expect Pakistan to fold as easily as they did. But yeah, T20 is not their game. They are. I'd expect Zimbabwe to beat them in T20s.
No, but Pakistan beat Zimbabwe recently, T20s inside Zimbabwe, so I don't think you should be saying that.
So they're getting better. Okay, they're getting better. Okay, that's good. Yeah, but they were still hopeless against South Africa.
Yeah, South Africa. I didn't expect that. South Africa played so brilliantly in the second T20 and chased 200 runs. I thought Pakistan would win that, and the third T20 got abandoned. Avish, do you concur with Yuvi?
Yeah. Look, Yuvi's favorite bowler was really disappointing in these two games, man. Haris Rao.
He was.
Yeah.
But I got to be honest. With Haris Rao, he was not playing his game. He was being told by his wicketkeeper and captain to bowl slower balls. He was not playing his natural game. The commentator said it. You could hear it.
Oh.
He was bowling slower balls. Exactly.
Look, I mean, honestly, guys, I didn't expect SA to get it done so easily as well. I thought Pakistan were going to be really, really competitive because they are good in T20s. I mean, historically. So I think it was a bit of a disappointing kind of performance of Pakistan in these games. I mean, the first one, was quite a close game, eh? In Durban, I mean, it could have went either way, and I think they held it well. A
Yeah.
bit of inexperience from Mapaka in the penultimate over, but he did bowl a very good final over, and that was a clutch over to get Rizwan out. But the second game, I thought Pakistan's bowling was all over the place. Honestly speaking, this was a much better
Yeah.
performance from SA with the bat
Yeah.
than in the first game. I thought Pakistan bowled pretty well in that first game. I mean,
Yeah.
barring Harish Dalal, everybody else. I think there was another bowler that went for quite a few. Was it Akbar Ahmed, if I'm not mistaken? Besides those two bowlers, I thought they bowled pretty well in that first T20. But the second game, oh, they were all over the place. I mean, slow balls deluxe. This is what UV is,
Oh,
speaking about.
okay. Are you
And
referring
those
to the spinner, Arbrar Ahmed?
Abrar Ahmed, correct, yeah. I think
Okay, I
he went
thought.
for some fluck in
Okay.
that first game, if I'm
Okay.
not
All
mistaken.
right. All right.
But he got some
Yeah.
wickets.
Yeah,
He got
yeah,
some
he
wickets.
did. But yeah, I mean, slow ball deluxe in that second game, UV, and those balls were
That
just
was
going
disappointing.
out of the ground. Yeah, so the captaincy was, I thought, was a bit poor from Rizwan, eh? In these two games.
Very,
What do you think?
very.
Very, very poor tactically. I thought his tactics, he got his tactics horribly wrong. Even in that first game, I thought, he was trying to play a game where he was going to bat the overs out. But I think that innings actually hurt his team a lot more because he was trying to catch him towards the end. And let's be honest, guys, in T20 cricket, if you're not catching in the back end, you gotta set the foundation from the beginning. You can't bat slow and expect to, catch up with the scoreboard. It's not going to happen, guys. It's not going. So I thought that was a bit naive from him to play that kind of game in that first game, and try to think he can get it back in the death over, which is too much for him in the end. So very very disappointing tactically from Rizwan in this last two games. But I mean, full credit to SA. I mean, uh, incredibly steady. It's the first time SA won an ODI series since 2022, a T20 series. Sorry, since 2022. So it's been a long time, eh? And
Yeah. I didn't realize it was that
Really?
bad.
I,
Okay.
yeah, the last was against England. So look, it hasn't been a good time in bilaterals for Rob Walton, but I think this is a series win that's going to give him a lot of confidence. Takes a bit of pressure off him in a way, but I mean, if you look at SA's bowling attack compared to Pakistan, Pakistan's bowling attack is a lot more experienced in a way, and this SA bowling attack actually outbowled Pakistan in a way in the last two games. It's a bit disappointing, but I think this one's captaincy has a lot to do with it. I thought it was very
But
poor
I,
tactically as
I
well.
would also mention the fact that overall they have more experience than the SA attack. But the team that actually played in these T20s, not so much. Because once again, I'm going to come back to selection. I don't believe Pakistan had their best team on the park.
That's the problem with T20. Not many teams play the best team in the park. It's all
I think they were
exercise.
trying to experiment far too much.
Yeah.
I think they were trying to experiment far too much in these games.
Agreed.
So
Agreed.
hopefully, come the ODIs, they're going to play the best team, which would make
Look,
Yogi a lot more happier. Because
to me, I
I mean,
really don't care about the
I think the
T20s.
ODIs have a lot more content.
I fully expect South Africa to win T20s, maybe even the ODIs, but the test matches is where I expect Pakistan to beat them.
Okay. Tell me something for the ODI series, UV. What scoreline do you think SA is going to win the ODI series? I think there are 3 ODIs there.
2-1. If they
South
do win.
Africa.
If not, it could go 2-1 either way. It could go 2-1 either way, depending on how selection goes. Yeah.
Okay. And you, Avish?
I think they have a good chance in this ODI series, because I think there's a lot of senior players that are coming up. And Pakistan team at the moment, they're not playing with a lot of confidence. And so this could either go 2-1 or 3-0 to SA.
You know
I'm
what's
pretty
funny,
confident.
Avish? Yeah, but remember,
Yeah.
Avish, Pakistan beat us Australia in that ODI series, then fine, Australia weren't playing the best team, and also those pitches were interestingly spicy. So I think SA should rather prepare flight decks, man, in that ODI series, because if SA prepares similar tracks, we shouldn't discount Pakistan's fast bowlers. They could surprise us. But I also go with SA 2-1. But
I would
yeah,
go 2-1. I would go 2-1 as well. More realistic.
To me, what Sid just said is the key to it. Do Pakistan play their fast bowlers, or do they put medium pacers like they did in the T20s? That's the key.
Yeah, man, because they were awesome against Australia, though. That fast bowling was nice, and also the pitch was nice and spicy. So hopefully, I don't think SA will produce such weird pitches for the ODI series. I think they'll be flat. So I think Pakistan will lose that series 2-1. Okay.
Yeah, but still, I just want to bring something up here. Okay. I just want to bring something up there, so quickly. If you look at that ODI series win against Australia, I think it's a bit flattering in a way, because a lot of Aussie players, after that first ODI, they took a rest for this test series. So
that is true. Yeah.
Pakistan were essentially playing against, I think, Australia's B team, or essentially like a B minus C team. So it was a lot weaker in Australian side, because I mean, if you had the likes of Hazelwood, Cummins, Stark, who else? I mean, I think the batting in a way was a bit. I mean, and let's just say Travis Head was there, and Steve Smith. I mean, different kind of game, eh? Different kind of game for Pakistan. But I mean, you got to give them credit for winning in Australia. They don't win there very often. But I think I expect SA to play their best team in at least the first two games. I think if they win the series, they'll try and experiment in the second game. But I think the first two ODIs, they'll want to play their best team. And I think Pakistan should do the same, because this guy is actually preparation for the Champions Trophy next year. So I do hope Pakistan take this seriously, eh? And they don't try and over-experiment and complicate things, which they actually did in the T20s.
I agree.
Yeah. By the way, even though we won, I know this is gonna sound a bit weird, me saying this. It looks like SA won this T20 series really easily, but there were times that this T20 series could have been tied 1-1, if you know what I mean. Because Pakistan batted really well in that second T20. It was just
that opener of theirs, he's good. Yeah. That opening batsman, the left-hander, he's good.
Oh, I mean, he's an incredible talent, guys. I mean, Saim Ayub, he's brilliant. He's absolutely brilliant. That is the problem with Pakistan at the moment. They don't have another player that can play that kind of tempo. If you look at all the other batters in that team, they play at a very low strike rate compared to Saim Ayub. I think Saim Ayub plays his natural game, and he's so good to watch. But the rest of the players in that Pakistan side, they've got a problem with strike rates. And I just want to bring something up here, guys. I mean, Babar and Rizwan up the order. I think we need to forget about it now, guys. I think Saim Ayub is here to stay, and I think they need to break that kind of partnership, that opening stand they had with Babar and Rizwan, because you can't have two kind of anchors. You can't have two anchors in T20 opening the innings. It's not going to work out. It's just not going to work out.
No, but you see, what I was trying to say, guys, is that even though it looked doom and gloom for Pakistan at the moment, they're a kind of team that when they blow hot, they're really unpredictable. So I don't think they're as bad as what we kind of make them look out to, because that series line could have been 1-1. That could have been really still an interesting line.
I just feel like their middle order right now, their upper middle order is useless.
Yeah.
Their upper middle order right now is useless.
I would tend to agree with you. I would tend to agree with you there, Yubi, because I mean, if you look at Saim Ayub on Friday, he didn't get a lot of support from the other players as well. I think he was like a lone man there in that.
But they had that. They had that cameo down the order. What was that guy, the all-rounder?
Irfan Khan. Is it Irfan Khan?
Something like that. He cleared the ropes a few times.
Okay, guys. Okay, Yuvi, you are really bullish on England doing well against New Zealand, which they had. They won the first two tests really comprehensively, and the third test looks like a funeral. So what were your thoughts on the second test for England winning by over 300 runs, if I can remember?
I'm going to go back to WTF. I'm looking at that bowling attack of England, and how in the world are they beating New Zealand? I did not expect this to be their bowling attack.
Okay.
How are they beating New Zealand? Seriously.
What you mean? But then you were quite
I'm
confident.
not.
Uh-huh.
I'm not disappointed that they've won. They're proving me right, but I don't think they should be getting the sort of easy victories they're getting with that bowling attack. I don't think so.
Interesting. Yeah, but then what do you think of the third test, UV? You think England's gonna lose it quite badly?
I think that's
Maybe New Zealand...
it's more of an accurate reflection. New Zealand are playing better. They're making that bowling attack look like what it is, inexperienced, not really up to the mark. And had New Zealand played like that in the first two, they would have done well.
Interesting, because you betted on England, not better, but you predicted.
Yeah, I expected Mark. I expected Mark Wood, Jofra Archer. I expected the big names, not these guys.
Okay. Avish, you concur with UV?
I'm really surprised how poor New Zealand performed in the series. I mean, it's been a real shock. Yeah, I mean, if you look at an England bowling attack, it doesn't really scare you, does it? I mean, you got Chris Woakes there that's been around. Okay, fair enough. But I mean, the rest of that attack is so inexperienced in a way. Chris Wood and Mark Wood and Jofra Archer is a really sight is a sight to behold. But I mean, those guys unfortunately are always injured. I mean, they injured more than they actually play. That's the problem with England. But I mean, New Zealand have been really poor in the series in terms of their batting as well. I mean, look at Will Young. I mean, Will Young is back in this test match and he's already made two good scores. So I'm not sure what the New Zealand selectors were actually smoking, leaving this guy out of the lineup. I mean, he was one of the first names. He was supposed to be one of the first names on the sheet, guys. I mean, coming to the series. I mean, New Zealand knew how important the series was if they wanted to get to the WTC final. I just think the series has been so underwhelming for New Zealand that it's actually undone all the good work that they've done in India. Because I mean, the fielding has been absolutely atrocious in the series. I mean, I've lost count how many catches New Zealand have dropped, and if they hung on to those catches, definitely different ball game. I mean, how many times did Brook get dropped in that first test in Christchurch? Was it about 7 times? I think he had like 7 lives. Yeah.
It's like getting a lottery ticket and winning a lot of money.
Look at that, a lottery ticket, absolutely. So I'll be surprised. I mean, New Zealand played very poor cricket. I mean, if we're looking at this game, I mean, guys, it's a dead rubber. Let's be honest, the dead rubber.
Yeah.
It seems like England are not really bothered about this test match. They've come to New Zealand, they've conquered New Zealand. I mean, this is Saudi's farewell, and I'm sure New Zealand, barring a miracle now, are going to give Saudi a nice send off here. But they've got to look at how they played in the first two years. They've been really, really disappointing. Same with England as well. I think, minus Matt Henry, they really don't have bowlers that can penetrate this England batting lineup. If you look at Matt Henry alone, I mean, Will O'Rourke is still a bit raw. Saudi, I mean, to be honest with you, he's really lost that pace that he had, in his younger days. Obviously, this is his final test match. And it seems like New Zealand, they've probably been a bit sentimental in the series, making Saudi play all 3 games and giving him that fear. I think it's hampered them in a way. I don't know if you guys agree with me, but Saudi being in this team has hampered New Zealand's chances of actually winning the series.
True, but I come back then to who would you have replaced him with? Because isn't what's his name injured? The fast guy, Lockie, he's injured. Yeah. So who would you have replaced Saudi with?
Yeah, it's a sad tale of
affairs. That's a good question, man. That's a good question. I honestly think it's going to be tough for New Zealand come the next couple of years in Test cricket because they've got a lot of players that making their way now in Test match cricket. Their bowling attack, I mean, leave this Test match, is quite inexperienced in a way, guys. So, I mean, it makes that series in India a lot more spectacular than we even think it was.
It does.
I mean,
it does.
I don't know what you want to call it, guys. A fluke, but I mean, winning or whitewashing a team in India is by no means a fluke. I think India was just absolutely atrocious in that series as
And
well.
I think the other thing to remember is they beat India at their own game. Those wickets were turning. Those wickets were turning.
Absolutely,
They beat them at
absolutely.
their own game.
Those were pathetic wickets,
But
to be honest, guys.
Yuvi, the spinners that actually outbowled India. I mean, you're looking at part timers essentially,
Hmm?
the likes of
Exactly.
Phillips. I mean, okay, Satner is obviously he's been around the blocks, but I mean, he's by no means a world class spinner,
No.
Yuvi. And then you've
He's
got
more of an
Ajaz
all
Patel.
rounder. He's more
The
of an
thing
all
is with
rounder.
Ajaz doesn't play any home games for New Zealand. He doesn't play any home tests for New Zealand, which I think is a bit disappointing, eh? In a way. And they only play him in overseas tours.
I
But
think
I
if you
don't
look
know.
at New Zealand's best spinner, it's got to be Sodhi, right?
Interesting.
It's got to be Sodhi.
It's a tough one, eh? It's a tough one. It's a tough one to call. I would say Ajas has done a lot better than Sodhi in the last couple
Okay.
of years. I don't know if you agree with me, sir.
Which one?
I think Ajas Patel has done a lot better than Sodhi in the last couple of
Yeah,
years.
yeah. I think Saudi, the bit of a hit and miss kind of bowler. Sometimes Saudi
But
gets it
there's
right, and
another guy that's missing from the side, guys, and I think he brings a lot of balance. Where in the world is Bracewell?
oh yeah,
Good point.
Bracewell.
Good point.
Michael Bracewell.
I thought he's injured.
Is he injured?
Otherwise,
I
he would
don't
be
know.
playing, right? Yeah, because remember, Tim. Remember, Statner came because that guy. What's his name again? Bracewell was injured. Remember against India. Remember. So imagine if
Oh
Bracewell
yeah,
was he?
wasn't
yeah,
in.
yeah.
Okay. So that really hampered him. But I mean, I honestly I didn't expect this result in the series, guys. I mean, it was a pretty inexperienced England bowling attack. I mean, even if you talk about Atkinson and Cast having good starts to the career, still inexperienced guys. I think the biggest problem in the series New Zealand was opening partnerships. I think Conway and Latham have really been poor in that regards. Conway, I'm not sure what's happened to him. I think his form has just fallen off a cliff. He's not the same player. So that is what makes it more bizarre that a guy like what's his name that I was just talking about now that did so well in India, uh, Will Young. It is so bizarre that Will Young hasn't started the series because he was one of the best players in India in that New Zealand batting lineup.
Yeah, and even Ravindra Jadeja. I mean, that's not Ravindra Sachin, right? What's his name? Rachin. Sorry.
Rachin Ravindra,
Yeah,
yeah.
sorry, my bad.
Rachin Ravindra, yeah.
Yeah. Even he's done
Yeah.
pathetically in the series, you know.
Yeah,
I
but I
think the
mean,
problem with Rachin. Sorry,
Uh-huh.
go for it. Go for it.
yeah, I mean, what was the reason to drop Will Young in the first place? Will Young was one of the best batters in India, and this was a home
Yeah.
series. I mean, home conditions. So I mean, I think there's some politics in that New Zealand selection as well. But I don't think they played the best. They picked their best team for the series, guys, and that's why they lost, unfortunately.
Yeah.
My thinking on Rachin Ravindra is he's one of the superstars of tomorrow, but he's very inexperienced. Just because he's
Yeah.
had a lot of the results he's had, we kind of overlook his inexperience. He's gonna make mistakes along the way. He's still young.
Fair. Okay, Avish, so you expect New Zealand to win the third test very comfortably? Or do you think England's going to pull off a miracle? Because I remember Duckett made some weird bullish claim when he was doing it. Remember when they played against India, he said that England can go and chase 600, and yet they lost over by 300 to 400 runs. That was so bizarre. It's a good thing that Duckett hasn't made any comment like that this
I'm
time.
not sure what I'm not sure what Duckett is smoking, but I think he needs to stop. I think
No, he
if
needs
New
to give
Zealand
me
don't win
some.
this game, I think if New Zealand don't win this game, they can hold their heads in shame and just hide away, hide behind a rock after that. If they don't win this game, yeah. So I think
Yeah, I
I think
agree.
it's gonna be I think it's gonna be a comfortable win for New Zealand. It
I know
should.
you
True.
It
see.
should.
I know you see, Avish, what I was saying is that it's good that Duckett hasn't made any weird comments on this game, because I remember when he was in India, he made those weird comments. I think it was in the third test when they said that they were confident of chasing such a big score. So I'm complimenting him that he didn't make any comments on this game. But I do believe this pitch isn't as bad as how England batted in the first inning. So I think they just switched off. So hopefully they can bat a lot better in the second innings. I think England, call me crazy. I think they could fancy themselves that they're chasing less than 500, maybe 450. But if it's over 500, then
Maybe
England's
they
lost for sure.
maybe they will chase 600. You never know.
No, if England chase 600, the units should definitely hide their heads in shame.
If England chase 600, then I've got no hope for Jusmer. Honestly, I've got no hope for Jusmer. I've got no hope for Jusmer. Honestly,
that bad, huh?
that bad. I mean, 600 in the fourth innings with two new balls. I mean, guys, jeez, that's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Well, the only thing they've got in their favor.
Yeah, go for it.
Oh, I know UV froze.
Is, let's face it, if anybody back to defy any odds, Ben Stokes. He will defy any odds. So yeah, you never know.
Okay, UV. Let's go quickly through to West Indies and Bangladesh. I don't know if you watched any of the series. I mean, West Indies really have dominated Bangladesh. Eh? So what were your thoughts on that?
Expected, let's face it. Bangladesh are not the worst team, but they're not the strong side they once were. And the West Indies are a team that's on the up. They're up and coming. So I expect them to win a lot of matches against these middle to lower nations. Yeah.
Okay, I wish you concur with that.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I didn't watch a lot of the series. I think the time zones were a bit odd for me. But yeah, I mean, I think a Bangladesh side without Shakib and yeah, it's not the same team, man. It's not the same team, especially away from home. I think they're going to struggle with this team. At home, I mean, you can expect them to be very competitive because, I mean, their pitches are quite ranked earners. But away from home, I don't give them much hope. Eh? So yeah, expected from the Windies, and there were some good performances from Rutherford in the series. UV, what did you make of him? I thought he was superb, man.
Excellent. Yeah, the fast bowlers.
All right. UV, can you hear me?
I can.
Oh.
Can you hear me?
I can't hear you. I think it's my sound. Okay.
Can you hear me, Avish?
I can hear you. I can hear you guys loud and clear. Yeah, loud and clear. Like a microphone.
Can you hear me now?
Oh.
Can't even see you now, Sid.
So why are you hiding, sir?
Oh.
You're the apprentice. You're not the sorcerer.
So, okay, I'll start with you, UV. What were your thoughts on Afghanistan beating Zimbabwe very easily?
Expected. I mean, like it or not, they, for my money, have the best T20 captain in the world. And yeah, I expect them to beat Zimbabwe.
Okay, Avish, you concur with UV?
Yeah, I mean, looking at Zimbabwe and Afghanistan, I think Afghanistan, I agree with UV. They've got a much more formidable T20 side. I mean, these guys are seasoned T20 campaigners, man. I mean, they play in some of the best leagues. And it's a pity for Zimbabwe because Zimbabwean players, although some of them are quite talented, guys, they just don't get a lot of leagues in T20 leagues around the world. I think if they can get a lot more IPL and PSL and Big Bash experience, I think they can become a good side, eh? But I think that's the thing that's hampering them. So Afghanistan are much more superior T20 side than Zimbabwe. So it was expected. But yeah, I mean, Zimbabwe, there is some talent there. Eh? There is some talent there. We saw them win a T20 and an ODI against Pakistan. So there is something there for them. They can work. There is some talent there. They just need a lot more exposure in terms of T20 leagues, and I can see them becoming quite competitive. But yeah, I mean, Afghanistan on their day, hey, they look like a real force in T20 cricket. Eh? I mean, we saw how they performed in the World Cup. So this is a side you don't take lightly, guys. You don't take them lightly. You take them lightly, it's a terror.
Okay, any final
Yeah,
words before we wrap off UV?
Yeah, for me, just coming back to Afghanistan and them, you've got a captain that inspires. Let's face it, he's not just a bowler; he's an all-rounder. He inspires with bat and ball. He's your role model. That's what a lot of his players look up to. And to me, that's the difference between them and any other of those mid-range teams. Then we come back to state of world cricket right now. Honestly, get rid of all the chairman of selectors in every single country. Put somebody else in there, and let's hope for the best.
And you, Avish?
I have to agree with you. I think the ICC is a bit of a shambles at the moment, eh? Because I mean, the way they're handling this Pakistan Champions Trophy thing is a real mess up, eh, guys. I mean, it's less than 2 months to go for the tournament, and we haven't even had the fixtures come out. We haven't had a promo regarding this tournament. The hybrid model between Pakistan and India haven't gone out. So, I mean, Mr. Jay Shah, you need to get your house in order. You need to get your house in order. The ICC really needs a proper shake up, guys, because I think it's one of the worst run sporting boards in the world. I mean, if you look at FIFA and IRD, I think the ICC is one of the worst run. What do you think,
100%.
guys? One of
100%.
the worst run. It's a real Mickey Mouse show, honestly.
It is.
Okay, thanks so much for your time, guys.
Okay,
Thank you, bro.
have a good weekend, guys. Cheers, man.
Enjoy,
Catch you guys soon.
guys.